Hello Odyssey. Today we're going to be working on our operation review. So we're going to be looking at our adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing whole numbers and decimals, and also looking at word problems. We're going to do this a little differently to where I'm going to just be doing some computation problems with you. Then I'm going to have you try them and then stop and check and see how you did. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with the first thing, which for the final, for the operations final, you will need to know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide whole numbers. Some common mistakes are when you borrow from zeros. We do have some misunderstandings with that. Sometimes we don't line up our numbers. We make some fact errors. And also we sometimes might write a little sloppy, so sometimes our numbers don't look like they appear to be. So as a rule, always remember when we're writing vertically or horizontally, we want to write it vertical first and make sure that we're lining up our place values. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as 2,476 plus 984, and notice how my numbers are under their value. So the 4 is in the ones place, the 8's in the tens, and the 9's is in the hundreds. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and add. 6 plus 4 is 10. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14. And 2 plus 1 is 3. My answer makes sense because as I look, I have a 2,000 here. This is almost 1,000, so the answer of 3,000 would make sense. So I'm going to circle my answer. My next one is whenever I am doing a subtraction problem and I have to borrow from zeros. These get to be a little tricky. So just remember, we're going to write our problem first, vertical, and we're going to subtract and make sure we write it correctly under its place value. I cannot do 0 minus 5. Don't make that common mistake of just writing a 5 and writing a 4. I have to borrow. Since I cannot borrow from here, I'm going to borrow from here. So this 2 becomes 100 now, and I'm going to give it to the 10. And now I have something to borrow or to give to the ones place. So I'm going to borrow 1 from here, and it becomes a 9. And now I can go ahead and subtract because I have borrowed all the way across. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 1 minus 0 is 1. And this also makes sense to me because if I estimate, 200 minus about 50 is going to be about 150. So 155 makes sense to me. Okay? I can always check my work too by doing 155 plus 45 to see if I get 200. The next thing I need to know is to make sure that I understand how to multiply whole numbers. So I'm going to line my numbers up, and I have 38 times 21, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply 8 times 1, and I get 8. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm going to put my 0 down here because now I'm multiplying by the tens place, so 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So now that I have multiplied 38 times 1 and 38 times 20, I'm going to add those partial products together, and I come up with the answer of 798. So I'm going to circle my answer. Forgot to circle this one too. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to be doing division with whole numbers. So we're going to go ahead and set up our problem as 561. This is division, so this is my total, and I'm dividing it into groups or parts. So I can fit 1, 3 into 5. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. I bring down the 6. And I can fit 8 3's, and 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract 26 minus 24 is 2. And 3 can go into 21 7 times. And notice I don't have any remainder, so my final answer is 187. Okay? Take a moment now, and you are going to go ahead and try an addition, a subtraction, multiplication, and division problem. And then when you are finished, you're going to go ahead and go on to video 2 for today.